and welcome to a road version of Sessions at On That Note. And I'm here in Manhattan with the charming and talented Rhett Miller, and I'm just so honored to be here with you today.
Thank you very much, Cindy.
Thank you for meeting with me. We had tried to set this up in Austin in
Yeah.
April sometime, and that kind of went awry
Yeah.
due to a flight thing. So it's really nice of you to kind of take the time to reschedule this with me when we both are here in New York City.
I know this is fun. It's kind of glamorous. We're in New York City.
I know, look, you can see out the window. We're in New York City.
The Lower East Side. We're a block away from CBGB's old site. Yeah, the old famous punk rock club's
very
right down the street.
historic sort of rock and roll domain over here.
Yeah.
So I know you're really busy and you have a lot of things going on. First of all, you have a brand new CD
Yes.
out. That just came out a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I love it. I got to listen to
Thank
it a
you.
little bit ahead of time. And how is that going in terms of the response you've gotten? How do you feel about that?
Well, so far it seems great. You know, I try not to pay too much attention, but I do get emailed some, different reviews, and there have been some really good ones. And, the people that I am close to, that I care about, their opinion, they all like it. And most importantly, I'm happy with it, because I gotta sing these songs for the rest of my life. So yeah, I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, great. And I know you work with Salim Narala in Dallas,
Yeah.
and he also did the All 97's Blame It on Gravity CD,
Yeah.
and he's amazing. I wanted to know, what was different about working with Salim on your solo CD than other producers that you'd work with?
Golly, every producer's vastly different. I could fill up hours of digital space. But Salim is a very adventurous producer, in that he doesn't have a lot of rules, because people tend to have a thing that they like and they figured out how to do it, and so they come up with all these rules that are that they think are really necessary. And it's true even in our band, Old 97s, that people, we have sort of things that we've decided over the years. No Hammond B3 organ, for instance, which we broke that rule on Blame It on Gravity, because Salim, encouraged us to, let go of these things that can be really, silly. You hang on to these sort of prejudices. But Salim's very good at that. He's very... he's just very adventurous, and he's also got a great bedside manner. He's really sweet. Like, he's good at talking me into things that with another producer I might buck up and say, no way we're going to do it that way. But I'm willing to try it with him, and it helps that I've been friends with him for so long and trust him so implicitly now. Mm-hmm. And I've loved all my producers, but I'm really excited to be with Salim now. And it's funny, it sounds like I'm dating him. And in a way I am, I love him, and I want to work with him as much as I can. So
he's an awesome guy, and his new CD is really great too.
Very beautiful, Constellation.
Yeah, I like that a lot. When we talked about working on the CD before you started, you had called it sort of a quiet campfire CD.
Yeah.
Which one of the songs turned out to be the most different than when you brought it into him, and what it turned out to be on the album?
Well, it's funny because I had this song Bonfire that to me was going to be the heart of the record and define what the record was going to sound like and the feel of the album. And Bonfire was a real finger-picking song, and Salim had an idea that it should be straightened out. Which is to say, instead of having kind of a swingy kind of thing, dun 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 dun, that I would do it more straight. So it's like Jun 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 Jun, meet me by the bonfire, real straightened out. And I was like, I can't believe you're fundamentally changing the song that to me was the cornerstone of the whole album. I mean, forget about the fact that now the whole album has gone from being a quiet campfire record to being this record that has moments of real quiet and these huge, loud rock moments. So the whole album has changed, but now the one song that I thought was perfect is going to be changed fundamentally. And there are still people that prefer the bonus track version that's part of the deluxe edition of the album, which is the original demo I'd made of the finger picking. But I really love the way that the new version turned out. It makes more sense sonically with the album the way it is, because if you had this finger-picking quiet campfire song next to Happy Birthday Don't Die, which is literally on the sequencing what they are. It goes Happy Birthday Don't Die, this super psychedelic rock moment with a huge minute-long outro of noise, and then straight into Bonfire. it wouldn't have made sense sonically. So I trusted him, and I'm glad. And the other version still exists, you know.
Mhm. So you got to do it kind of both ways.
Yes.
Yeah, and so yeah, the album is so beautiful. And like many of your solo albums, you have this way of doing dark lyrics sort of captured within peppy, poppy
Yeah.
melodies. So, you know, what sort of inspires that?
Oh, it's that innate desire to be loved, to please people all the time. It really is. I don't want to be one of those people that goes around singing dirges and, you know, making everybody be super quiet so they can hear my sad song. Like, to me, that just sounds like a whip. So, if I have, you know, darker sentiments, my trick is to couch them in, you know, a more upbeat tune. And so then people don't realize that there's something going on in the subtext that's heavy until maybe the fourth or fifth listen.
Right. Right, and I think that's what makes like your sound really special. I think that what makes your songs kind of interesting because, you know, people can get into the melodies, but then when they listen a little bit closer, they're sort of learning things, like picking up little
Thanks.
tidbits. So the other thing that you have going on is you're playing all these shows. That's one of the reasons why you're here in the New York area. You are doing these evening with the old 97s.
Yeah.
And you did a 4-night stand. I guess you're on the 4th night tonight.
A 4-night stand in Hoboken at this famous old punk rock club called Maxwell's, where we played years ago. Early in our career, we played Maxwell's, and we've come back to it, and it's a little room, and it's definitely, I think it's been fun for the audience, you know, to see such an intimate thing, because the 97s have graduated to larger rooms, and it's been a long time since we've been in a little situation like this. And there's a downside. The dressing room's a boiler room. There's no access to the stage except through the audience, but in a way that's kind of sweet too, because we're down in the boiler room, you know, huddled together like in the old days, coming up with these set lists. And this 4-night stand in Hoboken is remarkable to me because we're not repeating a single song except for Time Bomb, which is traditionally our closer. So that's like 90 songs over 4 nights, something like that.
So how did you guys prep for that?
Sound check. We there's only a handful of songs that we really can't pull off without a rehearsal. So we've been doing long sound checks and just running through 6 or 7 songs that might be the trickier ones.
And so you and Murray are both doing opening sets.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you have to change personas a little bit to go from like the Rhett Miller set to the old 97s? Because at the show that I was at, I mean, I did see like a shift in energy, I think, a slight shift in energy when you got on stage with the old 97s.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I've been doing a lot of solo acoustic performing. I mean, really my whole life. That's how I started. But especially the last few years. But since I don't live near the band, and when we get together and tour, we're together. But the rest of the time, I'm by myself. So I do solo acoustic shows a lot, and I really love it. But it's a different gestalt. Is that how you pronounce that? It's a different thing. You know, I have to be like an entertainer. I have to be everything. But with the old 97s, I don't have to work as hard in a way, even though it's louder rock and roll and maybe I jump around more, sweat more. I don't really have to carry everything like I do as a solo acoustic performer. You know, I can be surly or standoffish or quiet or weird or just, you know, just play the songs and don't tell a bunch of stories. You know, it's a different thing.